Okay, so we'll start this at 2:33, and this is the Groveland Historical Commission. We haven't met in quite some time because of COVID and because of some illnesses, and we had a resignation, so it's been tough, getting a group, especially during the COVID thing. It was just, nobody wanted to call. And a couple of people got COVID on top of it. So, we'll start off, we started a town-wide home survey. When was it, Linda? Probably 7 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
6 or 7 years ago. And we have to coordinate this with the Massachusetts Historical Commission. And it's a matching grant, so we have to match whatever they give us for a grant with CPC funds. Okay, so we've done 2 of them.
Right.
Through, the commission.
The last one was, 4 years ago.
Yeah. And we were gonna hop on it, pretty soon after that, but it just, with COVID and everything.
Everything just kind of fell apart.
Everything fell apart. So, we need to finish that, and, we can't do it this year coming up because it's too late for, an application. So we'll talk about it and we'll plan on doing it next year, and then we'll wrap that all up. And it's all the historical homes in Groveland that are surveyed by someone who's hired by Mass Historic, okay? We can't just have anybody do it. Years ago, a couple of people that belong to the Historical Commission did the first survey, and they actually really did a pretty good job on it, I thought.
I thought they did too, considering none of them had expertise in that particular area.
Exactly. So, we're doing pretty good. I don't know how many total we have now, but it's
I think one more go should be sufficient.
It's gonna be pretty close to 200. Yeah, one more should do it. And then we'll have all our historic homes, and then we can go on from there.
How many are registered now? How many are identified?
I'm sorry?
How many are identified now?
How many? Probably about 150-ish.
Yeah, actually, I think probably even a few more. Because we did about 120 with Stacy. She did about 120.
Okay.
And then everything before that.
Well, I don't know. Can we count the first section that was done by 2 of the members here? I don't think we can we?
No, but I wouldn't start doing that over again until we can finish everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so the next thing, number 2, is work on putting Washington Hall on the National Register. And I've been talking about this for quite some time. We have to find someone to do it. Okay, and I was talking to Rebecca about it, and we've got to put our heads together, and I've got to call Mass Historic and find out what they have to offer for us. And,
What does it entail?
Well, what's it entail?
Yeah.
A lot of paperwork, but when we
I
had...
figure that much.
When we had the last survey done, Washington Hall was on the survey list, and the surveyor said this is absolutely perfect. She said definitely belongs in the
Meets the
National Register.
criteria.
So it'll enable us to get grants, federal grants,
Right.
which is kind of the big thing.
Yeah, I think it costs probably a few $1,000s.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
but there are grants out there.
Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at with the National Register. And someone mentioned to me just recently the demolition delay, okay, which we don't have in Groveland. But there are several houses here in Groveland that are in pretty tough shape. And it would be good to put this in, okay? And I just printed that out on the demolition delay. So it can be as long as 18 months that a sale or a transaction is, turned over. So I think that place, the Parker Estate, or it used to be the Parker Estate.
By Perry Park?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Brian Smith's house
Mm.
on Main
That's
Street
right, that's-
as
yeah,
well.
that's just
As
sitting.
well, and I guess there's some movement by the family to do something with that, but I don't know exactly what.
Mm.
So I'm not going to say any more than that. But there's a few other homes too, off the beaten path that probably could be on that.
Yeah, I can think of a few others too.
Yeah.
Is that one at the end of King Street and you take a right and it's right there on your left? It's got a barn and it's got an outhouse and it's a big white house with a,
And
Pickup
it's,
truck.
and it's falling apart.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
Parker's-
Parker
That's
Estate.
Mr.
Okay.
Parker's.
My brother-in-law was in that house when he was a student. He knew one of the kids that lived there.
Wow.
Said it was old back then. And he's 75 now.
So, I don't know if anyone's living in that house now.
I don't think anybody is.
It doesn't.
That truck hasn't moved an inch in 2 years.
I haven't seen any movement in a long time.
No, I haven't
I
either.
think they had the Underground Railroad in that house years ago when
They did,
yeah.
and it connects to the two houses on the side.
nice.
Frank
Wow.
Sadowski's old house,
All right.
and, that, it
The-
used
the-
to-
the Lord's
it
house?
used to
The
be-
Lords used to
yeah,
live?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Danny Lord's
Yeah.
house. So it came up on each end, okay,
Mhm.
from the river, and then it crossed over to the Parker house, okay? So they were all three connected.
What's the name of the gentleman that owns that house, the one I'm talking about? The one in the middle?
Parker.
Parker.
Ted Parker,
Hmm.
if he's still with us.
Now, he's a direct descendant from the original.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ted,
right.
Ted Senior, yeah. I used to play golf with Ted Senior, my uncle Park, we used to go out and play golf in the summers. I was like just a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
that was back, 40, 50 years ago.
Wow.
When we moved to town, his father lived there too.
Oh, is that right?
Used to put Girl Scout cookies for my girls.
I think what happens is
I met
people
him
get
several
sick.
times.
People get sick, they go into a nursing home, and then the house is in a trust or something. And then they can't do anything until the person passes away. And then they either sell the house or they do something else. But
Mm.
it's probably what's happening there. Be my guess.
I know there were other people in the family,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I met Ted several times.
Yeah, Betsy Stearns was his sister, she used to teach at Bagnell and Shanahan,
Oh, is that right?
yeah.
It's nice to have someone from town.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we're just newcomers. I've only been here since, 1973.
That's a long
You
time.
got me beat. How about you?
86.
56.
56.
But I was following a trail of people that were here before me.
Yeah, yeah. We
20.
moved here in '88. So I'm the newbie.
Well,
All right.
everybody's welcome.
All right, so I just thought of this just before I printed these out, and the Historical Society has been doing these plaques for a number of years now, and it's quite a job. It's all handmade. The lettering is done by someone that does lettering on trucks and vehicles, and he does a really good job. And this lettering was done probably about 30 years ago. And
Really?
it's still,
That's good.
Held up well.
it's vinyl.
Wow.
So vinyl is the way to go with the lettering. But the paint didn't hold up too well.
There's no name though associated with the original owner.
People sometimes put a name on their plaque.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, the Smith House or
something
something.
else.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's up to them, really, what they want to put on it. So I don't know if that's something that we could maybe take over from the Historical Society in a way, somehow, some way. I was talking to someone not that long ago, and it was at Washington Hall, and he's a carpenter, and he offered to help with it. So
Oh, good.
that would be good. I mean, the hardest part is the woodwork.
Mm.
right.
It really is. And then painting, yeah, not so bad. And then just drop them off, have the lettering done, and you're all set.
Could Whittier Votech or Pawtucket, the schools, the shop classes, they
You
still have
know,
shop
I
classes?
was wondering about that
Yeah.
when I was coming over here. Eddie Reed probably would be the
Yeah,
go-to person to
Mhm.
ask them.
yeah. I can say, I see him at the American Legion meetings. He just celebrated his 90th birthday recently. Now he's getting close. He wants to celebrate his 91st birthday.
He's incredible,
Yeah.
just incredible.
You went to his party.
Yes, yes,
I missed it.
yeah. So
Somehow
this,
we just got passed right over.
yeah, there were probably, well, this whole
Yeah, I was
area
planning on
here,
going, I just, for some reason, I
was
just
full.
forgot about it.
Yeah.
over 100 people were here,
Wow.
so it was really nice. Good
Mm.
celebration for a good guy.
Don't
Yeah.
quote me on that.
He's just recording.
Yeah. Forgot all about it.
So John, do you have any questions about anything?
No,
Excuse me.
yes, I just get to get sworn in or something, get a note down there from Rebecca or the selectman or somebody, or whoever's the appointing authority, just to go down
Well,
and see
When's,
Beth kind of at town clerk's
oh my
office. get
God,
sworn in.
is there a meeting tonight?
What?
Selectmen? No?
Tuesday night?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, they meet Mondays.
Not Tuesday.
I missed it. Okay.
Maybe if you could send a note to them or something, just say that, put my name on, and then I can get on to Beth and get sworn in or something.
I'll go down there tomorrow.
All right,
Okay. It's always good to make an appearance
yeah.
here and there. So. And Vince, do you have any questions about anything?
Say it again.
Do you have any questions about anything?
I think that, seeing Ed is a good idea on the woodworking for the vocational. That's probably a good place to start on that. So the questions I have is the demolition delay. If you're gonna delay something, you have to have a plan, right, to what you wanna do with the property?
I'm not sure, okay, I just printed this out, it's just, some basic information, so I'll have to call Preservation in Boston and find out more about it. How we go about, putting it on.
Historical New England, I used to be a member years ago. They do a lot of that, they buy homes and they rehab, and they have to make sure it's worth it, I'm sure, historically.
Mm-hmm.
But, they might be a good resource. Just call and say, can anybody talk to me
Yeah,
about
well,
this?
this is from Preservation, Massachusetts,
Mhm,
right here,
right.
so.
Down in Plymouth, it's got a Plymouth, Mass address, yeah.
So we have to make, I'll make some phone calls and find out some more about it. And we can talk about it next time. And I don't know if that's gonna go before the selectmen at town meeting. I have not a clue, okay, so this is all new. Is there anything else that you can think of that the commission could be working on? I know, Linda's gonna say finish what we started.
I was gonna say, the survey was, that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't do it, but it was a lot of work.
And the surveyor had to have a master's degree.
So what kind of money is involved? What does it cost to have somebody like that come out?
What was the cost
Did that
on
work?
that? We
It
had to
ended- it was-
match it.
It was about
uh,
$24,000, I think.
Is that what it was?
The state pays for half, and CPA funds pay for the other half.
I thought it was more than that.
No, it was in the low 20s.
Was it? It's probably more now.
Oh, I'm sure, because that was about 4 years ago.
We had to interview all the people that were interested in doing the survey.
It's really quite involved. You have to post it in the paper, you have to advertise in a certain way.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated.
And you don't really set the price.
No,
More money now.
everything's more money.
As a quick aside, the Congregational Church is having their 300th anniversary in 2026, and it's also the U.S. Country's 250th anniversary. So,
So we're gonna have a party.
for the government from 1776 to 2026, and the church is 1726 to 2026. It's older than the country.
It's what?
It's older than the country.
Yes, yeah. That church was built in 1790.
90, yeah. The group got together in 1726 and they built that building in 1790. I guess when George Washington just became president or something.
And at one time there were town meetings there.
Right, up until in the last 50 or 100 years, I guess, maybe. Yeah.
And that school that was, like 2 houses up from the church.
The Merrimack School, Merrimack
Merrimack
School,
School was on the same side as the church.
Yeah.
So that was originally, or in the end, originally, given to the church.
All right. Yeah, it was between the Boynton's house and the Cammett's house. It was right in between the two.
Right,
Yeah.
and they each bought some of the land.
Yeah,
Because
I
when
think-
I looked at that land, I said, how did they fit that school there, And then someone from the church told me that that's what happened.
And
Yeah.
that was gone when I moved in here in 1973.
That was a nice building.
Yeah.
So was the general store, the country store that was down next to the church between there and Main Street. That was that was one of the oldest country stores in the country.
I watched that, my daughter and I watched that get demolished.
Oh, wow.
It took about 20 minutes.
Wow.
It was like,
They got demolished yesterday in Havel, Skelly's gas station next to Mike Sunoco.
I
They tore
noticed
down.
that on the way
I
there.
was getting gas at the gas station, and they said, "What are they doing over there?" He goes, "They're tearing the." I said, "It's been 40 years since they've been trying to do that."
You know, I noticed that on the way back from the gym. The 2 buildings were gone.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And you're right, it's been,
They're going to build
So
condos
that
there on the
was-
river.
That was a gas station?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Skelly's gas station. It was like the cheapest gas in Havel. We used to go there from Grosvenor in high school to go get gas there.
Wow.
and I think there used to be an ice cream place there. There was
Yeah, I
a-
think afterwards. Yeah.
Afterwards, there was
Yeah.
a florist there.
Yeah, you're right.
And then there was a farmer was there selling his produce
Yeah.
for a few years.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Something was actually happening there.
So, yeah, there's so much history in Groveland. That's one of the things that really got me going.
We have part of it as bell in the belfry. It's
Yeah,
the 11th bell cast.
Yep.
And the Civil War monument in front of the church in Perry Park, 1866. It was one of the first Civil War monuments in the country.
is that right?
Yeah. And Bob Guptill helped get the urn a few years ago, I guess, before he moved to North Carolina. Helped get restored the monument down there.
Right. But the cannons are gone.
Yeah, they've been long gone, I guess.
So evidently they were turned over to the government
I think
during World War II.
the iron to steel drive when they needed to raise, melt stuff down for the war effort.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they were long gone when I moved here.
I said to Bob one day, I said, why don't you go to Watertown to the armory and see if they've got
Arsenal
any
Street.
cannons on Arsenal Street, yeah. But he didn't go for that one. I thought it was a good
I
idea.
don't know why.
He probably would have said, okay, we don't think so. So, yeah, that should be a big party.
Yeah.
I was involved in the 200th anniversary of the town
Oh, in
with the parade.
1976? Yeah.
In
No,
2000.
2000. Oh, yeah.
2000.
That was 150. It was 1850 the town became, same year California became a state.
We should appoint
Walking
him the
encyclopedia.
president. knows more about the history. I'll tell you, Bob Gupta was my go-to guy when I had questions, you know, historical questions.
Yeah, he grew up on Lower School Street. My aunt and grandparents used to live in 23 Elm Park, and out in the backyard, I'd be out there playing as a little kid, and Bob would be out there. He was like 10 years older than me, and he'd be out there with his brother Gary, and just playing in the neighborhood. So
Yeah, we miss him.
yeah, he was a good guy, Bob.
Yep, definitely. So I guess Tracy's taken over the history part of the church.
I think so. Yeah, he was at a meeting the other
That's
day.
what he told me. And then the next question was, you want to help with the parade?
For next year, 3 years from now.
No, that was Tracy's question to me.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I said, when is it? And he says, couple of years. I said, well, a little bit. At first he wanted a parade every year. And I said, no,
He should
I can't do that.
sit down with us and tell us what it involves.
That would be, yeah, we can invite him.
Or maybe even just write up, you know, and do a biggie, an email or something that he could send.
Yeah, he works during the day, so it's kind of hard for him to come to a
Right,
day
well,
meeting.
maybe he can just write it out and send it out.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea. We did a reproduction of a town meeting at the church.
All right.
Remember that?
That was back in back in 2000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting up there. I think I was in the church that day. I think it was good.
Yeah, it was. It was. I went and borrowed a dress from Buttonwoods. I
Nice.
said, where am I going to find a dress from back there?
Get your sewing machine out. Ruff, ruff, ruff.
Oh, yeah. Right. I sew buttons. So, that's basically it. Do you have any questions, Linda, about anything?
No, I'll do a little research and see when the dates are for these things. The National Register thing, I think that's kind of a revolving thing. I think you can do it when you're
When you're ready?
But I'll check.
Mm-hmm.
And the historical survey with the matching grants, those are on a strict schedule.
Okay. Okay, so, you know, we haven't been very good with the meetings, so, I think if we try to do like maybe every other month or something like that.
I mean,
Does that
every
sound-
couple, 2 or 3 months, or quarterly.
Every 2 or 3 months, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe quarterly
Yeah.
would be more like it, because there
Okay.
isn't a lot that we do,
Well,
basically, you know? But if we can work on what we have to do, then that'll be good. That will be a good
maybe
accomplishment.
like a sounding board for the people in the town boards and things. There's something to tie things together. People want to get orientated with the planning board and the other people that if they're looking to, get some direction, the history of the town without, like Newburyport years ago. I was watching This Old House the other night, and they were talking about bulldozing Newburyport back in the '60s. And,
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
There was an episode of This Old House on Newburyport the other night.
Mhm.
And on PBS, and it was interesting. I went over a little bit about the history of Newburyport.
We watched that too.
Yeah, it was-
When I moved here in the late 80s, Newburyport was a mess.
yeah.
I mean, they were giving houses away.
In 1973, they were in dire straits.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I worked with a guy who actually bought up quite a few houses and turned it into condos, and it was. Other people did it too, so it was a good thing.
Now it's a show place, right? Everybody
Oh,
comes
no.
from everywhere, all over America to go there.
It looks very good
It
now.
looks beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
I went there with a
Downtown-
friend of mine
downtown.
who was interested in buying a business from a watchmaker. It's that round building right in the center of the square. It's 2 floors, they sell like knickknacks and mostly nautical stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking, on the second floor was a watchmaker. And my friend did, and this was probably 70. And the place, was run down, the whole place was run down at that time.
Mhm.
But he didn't wind up buying it, but I wanted too much money.
That's a showpiece.
Yeah.
So instead he bought a place on Washington Street in Boston, spent 40 years there in the tourist building.
Wow.
Havel's doing well. Lawrence and Lowell, the Lowell Lawrence plans they had back in the 1800s to make the planned cities, they're starting to come back. Lowell's got the national park, and Lawrence is doing a lot of stuff.
And Haverhill, when we moved here, Haverhill was a mess too, you know, and now it's made a lot of progress in the right direction.
Yeah, my mother-in-law grew up in Haverhill, and she used to bemoan the fact that they knocked down some of the most beautiful buildings, which they did.
Yeah. Well, Jim Ferrantini's done a good job as mayor, I think, the last 20 years.
I
So
think so.
tying things together, and the
I
city
think so,
council
too.
has done a good job, and all
Oh,
the.
this predates that. This is
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Way long time
They've
ago.
had a lot of mayors up there in the last 50 years. I think Mayor Waldman in the 60s, they were doing what Newburyport was. They were going to tear down the city, and they did by Central Plaza. That was all old buildings there, like next to the fire station on Water Street. They had buildings there along there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they tore some of that down. They
There's
tore
a
the old
lot-
city hall down, the old beautiful city hall, which was right where Pentucket Medical is. That was the old city hall right there. That was a beautiful old building. And, yeah.
They just tore down so many things.
But it wasn't just local. I mean, I think it was a national thing. People would just, urban renewal. Let's tear it down and stuff.
Other towns did it too. Other
Yeah.
towns and
Oh,
cities.
yeah.
No one's to blame.
It was definitely countrywide.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, calendar.
I'll do a little research on that demolition thing too.
Okay. All right, so. Should we shoot for June?
Flag Day, June 14th.
Oh, that's right, it's Flag Day. Oh, that's actually Mother's Day this year too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so my
it is.
calendar
When's
says,
Father's Day?
that's in June, let's see.
Yeah, that's next month. Yep, 18th of June.
So June 18th.
Oh, no, that's a Sunday. No, I was
June
talking
18th is Father's Day, yes,
Father's Day.
and that's a Sunday, yeah.
So what's a good day? Is it, I mean, we're all retired, so.
Yeah.
Any particular day, or does?
No, this is a good time of day.
Yeah,
In the afternoon.
afternoons work better for
Afternoon?
me.
Yeah.
Okay. You wanna make it for 2 or rather than 2:30 or?
What day?
2:30, either
I don't know.
time's fine with me.
So, are you gonna be teaching at that point?
No,
You
I'll
have
be
any
done,
students? You'll be done, so that wouldn't
Yeah.
interfere.
done in May.
All right, so, how about, might as well stick with Tuesday, so. How about the 6th, June 6th?
Yeah.
I'm okay with
It's good. 1944. That was a good day. Except for the people that got hurt and killed. D-Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, at what time?
We'll make it 2?
2 o'clock. All right.
What's that?
So that's at VZ Park, right? You're up here at VZ Park,
No, we'll be back at Washington Hall.
Washington Hall.
Yeah, we close it down for like 4 months in the wintertime. So, and we have the pipes winterized.
All right.
that. Okay.
And then, the heat, we've got one heater on.
So is it gonna be there the next
It'll
time?
be next time we'll be at Washington Hall.
Okay.
Have you been in there at all, John?
Yeah, I was
Since
in
it
there
all-
a couple of years ago when Marge and you were doing the Christmas trees. I had the big Christmas
Oh,
tree
yeah,
festival.
yeah, yeah.
That was really nice.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work, and we had to tear the whole building apart practically.
Yeah.
Inside, and then you had to put it all back together.
The kitchen and stuff. I remember when I was in the finance board, you came in front of the finance board a few times to help out with that. Yeah. You did a good job, Claire, over the years.
I try, I mean, it's not a perfect job, but I'm sure that it's made a little bit of an imprint.
The American Legion used to meet there years ago.
Correct.
They used to call it the Legion Building.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a few names for it. not correct names. So that was the first building of its kind in the United States.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean of its kind?
Well, it was built as a community center by Mr. Hale, okay, for the people that he brought over from England and Ireland to work in the mills. And he built homes for them. And there's a lot of what we call mill houses along Washington Street and off of some of the side streets like Mill Street.
Between there and Johnson Creek or something,
Mhm.
towards St. Patrick's or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So he actually put a children's library in there.
Wow.
And we've come to the conclusion that it's probably where the office is
Mhm.
now. And when the building was closed up, all the books were donated to Langley Adams.
Wow. A lot of history in town.
There is a tremendous amount. Tremendous.
How about no, we were part of Raleigh up to what? Raleigh was formed in what, 1639 or something? And
It
we're almost
was-
part of
it was-
Georgetown and Boxford or
It
something?
was in the 1600s,
Yeah.
and then it was part of Bradford.
For a long
So,
time.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
a real long time. From Raleigh, it was only part of Raleigh for under 10 years.
Yeah, Ezekiel
Yeah.
Rogers Plantation. I guess Reverend Rogers came over from England or something and established the Raleigh Plantation.
Right, and a lot of the surrounding towns were part of it.
Right.
They were part of
Then
it.
the Native Americans were here, sort of like Plymouth and Massasoit, and they greeted the English settlers that came over here, and the Native Americans were there. So we had a lot of Native American history along the river. There was a lot of arrowheads found there.
We have some arrowheads that
Yeah.
were donated several years
Yes,
ago.
we do.
Yeah.
Nice little ones. Some of them are real small. Some
Wow.
of them are bigger. You know.
Wow.
I guess you probably could shoot something
Small game maybe or something. Yeah.
maybe.
Little birds, maybe?
Wow.
I don't know, but the Wabanaki tribe was up here at Vesey.
Really?
That was the name of the tribe.
Wow.
And the building down the bottom of the road
Mhm.
here, when you first come in, that was a farm. And it was called Wabanaki Farm.
Wow.
So it was named after the Native Americans.
I know there are 574 Native American Indian nations in the country, Native American nations in the country. A lot of them are west of the Mississippi, but there's still a lot, east of the Mississippi.
Mm. Yeah, I remember we had, this is early on after we joined the Historical Society, which was, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago now. We had some people come and speak to us in their native dress.
Wow.
So it was exciting,
Too bad we couldn't do that again and get involved with schools like Bagnell School, Pentucket and Whittier, and Essex Aggie down in Danvers, and get them all, involved with some kind of presentation or something.
We could.
Get the school kids involved. Get the,
They
let them do
had,
some a lot of the research.
they had representatives from Native Americans at the new high school when they did the opening there.
Did they?
They, beating on the drum and they sang a song to the dedication of the high school. It
Wow.
was interesting.
Mm,
A husband and wife, I think.
really?
Yeah.
Where were they from?
Not directly from here, but close by.
Mm.
I know every September up by Plugs Point and Haverhill, they used to have the powwows up there. I went to a few of them.
Do they still have those?
I think a lot because as Claire was saying about COVID, I think they held off the last couple of years. But
They did those for a long time.
yeah, up there. I think it was September or something up there.
Mm.
Yeah, COVID
After
kind of
Labor
threw
Day.
my image in.
COVID really did a job on us.
Yeah.
Up here too at Vesey, we're going to do the flea market for the first time since COVID hit.
Wow.
We're going to have it outside
Oh, good.
this year with a rain date.
Hey, you always need a rain date.
It's going to be the next day, which will be a Sunday, so I don't know how to, say a prayer that it'll come out okay.
So June 6th
anyway.
at 2 o'clock,
June 6th, 2 o'clock.
and I'll go down to Rebecca, see Rebecca or Beth Conniff and get sworn in or something so I can be an official member.
I don't know if they're still down there. They were closing at noontime
Yeah, and.
today.
No, that's fine, no, I got till June 6th, right?
Yeah.
If you can send them a notice, just let them know that, you know,
I'll go down there and
All
talk
right.
to them. Because I've got a question about something that I just got yesterday.
Oh, the email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah. I think I'm all set on that.
I just did it last year.
I think that's when I did
But
it.
she said you have to do it again. So,
I didn't read the whole thing. Gonna do it again?
yeah, that doesn't count.
Anyway, okay,
It's
so
there.
we'll call the meeting at 3:09. Very good. Well, we have a few things to work on, and you know, all know how to get a hold of me, so come up with any ideas, let me know.